we have a woke real estate market out of Minneapolis or Minnesota, and we also have some more disgrace coming out of Chicago. More coming right up. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Black Spring with Autumn on this Friday. And it is the, can I say the mythical Friday the 13th, or I say even the superstitious, or the superstitious Friday the 13th, or it's a cliche Friday the 13th. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll do our usual order of business where I'll give a word of thanks to our loyal patrons, subscribers, and of course the viewers like you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And I just want to I will do some damage control, or a little bit of an apology, because this stream was supposed to happen yesterday, but not to worry. I have included the headliners from yesterday as well as a couple lines for today. So, but do these items ever really expire? I don't think so, but I thank you guys so much for tuning in on the segment of Black Spring with Autumn on the woke real estate. A little change of pace there for you, but thank you so much for tuning in. And if you are not sure whether you're tuning in or not, thank you so much for considering Black Spring with Autumn on your Friday, August 13th. So let's just get going here right away. So I did open up with a little bit of a, dare I say, a teaser on the woke real estate market, and we will take a liner from there, as well as we'll have a story on a judge coming out of our friends over at the JBS on an Ohio judge that ordered a defendant to get the CV19 mocktail as a condition of probation. As well as I have another story for you out of Chicago, in which looks like either the police captain or chief was either caught on maybe on a hot mic, if you will, and he actually the mayor supported his decision to cancel the honor guard bagpipes for the fallen officer Ella French. That's actually the superintendent who did not support that, and he was quoted for saying, "We don't have 20 minutes for that." SH splat splat splat. So we'll get started with those liners. I hope you guys are doing well out there, and it's nice to see you guys. And it looks like Fancy Truth is here, as well as TDOA. Hi, Tyrant Spain, TDOA. How are you? And I also have another liner on. If you don't remember for the lack of a better word, the infamous Amy Coney Barrett, the ACB. Yeah, ACB. Looks like she took a position, or maybe a position on a mandate for mocktails for students. And I mean, do we have anybody? Is there, it's like you start to hear your own voice or your own values echo in your mind, because it's like, is there anybody out there? Is there anybody out there that actually represents the people or constituents? I'm not too optimistic about that these days, guys. Sorry, I got to tell you that. So, tune your ears up. I had to give you that. But we will keep going. Looks like we have some other people popping in. It's nice to see you. Marcy T is here. Hi, Marcy T. It's been a lifetime, seems. Hope you're doing well. And Derek C. Williams, how are you? And also, I just want to tell you guys, this is just an FYI. I am no longer residing on the Golden Coast. So that's just FYI. I was as far west as I could be, and I'm in the opposite direction. So I thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's nice to see you guys in the chat. So you guys go ahead and chat amongst yourself, irrespective to what's going on. But let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and kick this thing off with one more infomercial, and then we're going to get started with the woke real estate story, as well as what Lori Lightfoot is doing, as well as what's happening. What is the Supreme Court doing on the bench in terms of, is anybody doing anything about? And I know I'm throwing some caution to the wind even talking about this, but I don't care. I'm going to talk about it. So hi, Derek C. Williams. So one more shout out to our lovely sponsors, and of course the viewers like you. And I'll be right back, and we'll dig in. And I think I'm gonna open this up. It is the Friday the 13th, dare I say. So if you dare, I'm gonna open it up. So you can pick any of these items, as long as we stay on these items. And we'll see what we have. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will be right back to get us going. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Marcy T., Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right, so we're gonna march on here. So I want to say hello to everybody in the chat, as well as four gatherers who is joining us over on Twitch. Thank you so much for being a new subscriber, a new follower. So thank you so much. So let's get going here. We're going to go ahead and we'll start with our story. We'll start with our story from the Minneapolis realtors saying no more, quote, master bedrooms, end quote, time for, quote, racial justice. I don't know, guys. I call me crazy, but just go ahead and store up everything you have, and you can purge if you decide to take the link later in the show. So I appreciate you guys so much for coming in. So I'm going to share that with you, and that's going to come from our friends at the JBS. This segment of our show is brought to you by our good friends at the John Birch Society. Less government, more responsibility, and with God's help, a better world. The JBS is a constitutional and educational organization that's been around for over 60 years, dedicated to upholding and defending the Constitution and working to preserve our freedoms and liberties in this country. The JBS does not endorse any political party or candidates. Rather, it focuses on the education, training, and development of the American voters. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. And what you do have before you, I'll be giving you the full screen, of course. And thank you guys so much for tuning into this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And we're going to have a look at our liner from our friends at the JBS. As you can see, we have a lovely master bedroom. As you can see, I think it's kind of nice. Yeah, nice little tray ceiling there. Okay, enough of that. I'm not showing property. Okay, however, according to this is written by R. Kirkwood from the TNA. If you're sleeping in a, quote, master bedroom, end quote, in Minnesota, you won't be for long if the real estate industry has anything to say about it. And it most certainly does have something to say now that it's woke. It's banning such terms as, quote, master bedroom, end quote, and his and hers closet, end quote, because they are offensive or not, quote, inclusive. The death of George Floyd and increasing awareness that just about everything is racist is one way or another explains the change the Minneapolis Star-Tribune recently reported, such as the heretofore unknown racism in the real estate industry that it employs, quote, educators, end quote, to teach professionals about racism and real estate. No more mother-in-law suites, quote, browse through home listings today and you'll find terms like, quote, primary bedroom, quote, dual closets, and, quote, in-law suites instead of, quote, master bedroom, his and hers closets, and mother-in-law suites. The newspaper reported, quote, it's part of a new real estate terminology that's emerging during a time of racial reckoning and pleas for more inclusive language. There's a hidden discriminatory piece that falls when you say, quote, master bedroom, end quote, said Jackie Berry, a listing agent for Adina Realty and an educator in a racism and real estate continuing education class for Minnesota industry professionals. Quote, I'm a person of color, and every time the term master bedroom, end quote, was used, I kept saying to myself, I don't like how it sounds, end quote, she said. Quote, now as I'm walking through a property, I'll just say it's the owner's or primary suite, end quote. In recent years, several Twin City area listing agents and real estate companies have been phasing out the word, quote, master, end quote, because of its association with slavery. Madam Berry and other realtors might not, quote, like how it sounds, end quote, but the term does not refer to masters and slaves, despite what she might imagine. The term appeared in 1926 when Sears used it in a catalog. No matter, Floyd's death changed that truth. Quote, it's something that has come up more and more the past few months, end quote. Berry told the credulous reporter, quote, there's been an increased awareness and wokeness since George Floyd's murder. We're seeing racial justice work being put into play, end quote. How dumping, quote, master bedroom, end quote, is, quote, racial justice, end quote, we are not given to know. Continued the Star Tribune in June 2020, the House Association of Realtors started to use the word, quote, primary, end quote, in place of, quote, master, end quote, when referring to bedrooms and bathrooms on its listing service. Since then, other groups, such as the Real Estate Board of New York, have committed to reviewing whether the term, quote, master, end quote, should be removed from its residential listings as well. In Minnesota, industry groups haven't offered guidelines on recommended terminology. It's up to real estate agencies and individual realtors. But Chris Gaylor, CEO of Minnesota Realtors Association, noted that its more than 21,000 members must abide by the National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics, which prohibits discrimination based on race, color, sex, national origin, sexual orientation, and gender identity. He said realtors also need to adhere to federal housing guidelines under the Fair Housing Act. Some realtors are now to believe that using terms such as, quote, master bedroom, end quote, or any other term that alarms someone who doesn't, quote, like how it sounds, end quote, might violate the Fair Housing Act. Not quite yet, the newspaper allowed. In July 2020, the Real Estate Standards Organization, RESO, weighed in on the issue, while a review by industry professionals determined the word, quote, master, end quote, was not a discriminatory violation under U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development standards. Replacing it with, quote, primary, end quote, was recommended. Minnesota and Houston are not alone. The New York Times reported on the terminology change last year, and in Europe, the effort goes back to at least 2009. Anyway, quote, a change in terminology is just the beginning, end quote. Berry continued, quote, there's more that needs to be done in Minnesota on education around racism and diversity, end quote. More, end quote. Always, quote, needs to be done, end quote. Crump chimes in. Oh my gosh, here we go. The ambulance chaser himself. This just I can't make this stuff up, nor did I have to. Unsurprisingly, race hustlers know a good thing when they see it, when they can mow the flat catchers. Quote, words matter, end quote, tweeted Ben Crump, the lawyer who shows up when cops shoot lawless black thugs like Mike Brown, end quote. Quote, good to see Minnesota phasing out the use of, quote, master bedroom, end quote, in real estate listings, many associated with slavery, a repetitive reminder of plantation life. Together, we can create more inclusive, aware communities. Okay, that was interesting. We're going back in time, right? So we have one last piece here. Commentator Jason Whitlock offered the obvious rejoinder, quote, serious question, Ben. Do you know anyone who equated, quote, master bedroom, end quote, to slavery? Of course, Crump doesn't. And even if he did, the equation would be false, continued Whitlock. Let's stop the bull splat. We have real issues to confront. Slavery was 160 years ago. If it's omnipresent in your mind at this point, you're an idiot. Now, Jason Whitlock, for those of you, if you watch Blaze TV, I think Jason Whitlock is doing his own thing over on Blaze, and yeah, he pretty much goes in pretty much every day and on a lot of issues. But I'm just saying, everything with the word master is going to be undone and redone for you. Hello, everyone in the stream. It's Friends in Code. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. So, what is it? What are you going to do with your master key or your what happens to the master's degree? What happens to that? What happens to the master class? What happens to I don't know. What are you going to do? Are we really going to make the argument that I can't, this is, you talk about conspiracy theories, unfounded conspiracy theories. This is what I'm talking about. These are the kinds of people that if I heard somebody talking like that, I'd go on my way. It's beyond embarrassing. Really? Who knew that that this would last so long? You know what I mean? Who knew? And from Marcy T says, I'm a master at my craft. You see what I'm saying? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to just change? But here again, these changes seem to be spurred by the same types of people. It's always the white liberal that's screaming, that seems to be screaming the loudest, and then follows somebody, some person who happens to be from the community that they claim they're speaking up for. Why is it, why why does a white liberal have to give the flag, give the sign for offense? Why is that the standard? Can somebody help me with that? I don't know. I'm just saying. Why? And the same thing about it is, somebody said something seriously several years ago, and this is only because my background is in music, and I think I've been around my share of the elites, and I didn't even know it. And maybe I was close to becoming one, but I was trying to be careful with that. But it just seems like, even I've heard other people from the, Black Americans, or people that happen to be Black that are Americans, say, why is it that certain degrees or certain professions are offered when liberal, it's like jazz became official, like the study of jazz, or to be able to obtain a degree in jazz. Well, it was only until it was brought forward to the, to the institutions, to the colleges, where, and that it was given, that it was, less marginalized, or it was allowed to be something you could actually get a degree in. I don't have any answers for that, but you could certainly apply the same logic to many other things. It's only when the elites and they come out of their white top, their ivory tower, and say, hey, that deserves to be, you can have that as a profession, or you can major in ice crystals, or you can major in that kind of music. We'll give it its credibility, no matter where the origin is. It's just, I don't know, but it's like they know what's best for everybody and every group and every craft. They get the domain, to own the domain and give it legitimacy before it actually becomes legitimate. But I'm trying not to get on my soapbox here too much about it, but I'm just saying. But why? Is it because you're letting them do it? You gave them the power? If you give people the permission to do what they want to do with a craft, or if you don't bring it to the forefront and say, hey, this is worthy of, why did you wait for them to do it? Just do it yourself. And I'm saying that for, for the wokety woke. Hello, friends in code. He says, they changed the, quote, master, end quote, moniker in programming as well, from master to main, for the same reasons. You know what, friends in code, to your point, even for those of you that are either in graphics or computers, I noticed that even on Adobe, I happened to be in a chat, and they were saying that you can no longer, like, say, one of the programs, you can no longer refer to master pages in one of the programs, because it's, everybody in there from Europe, oh, it's offensive. I'm like, how is it offensive? How? And how does it apply to you? How is it offensive to you? I know if I'm not 400 years old or 160 years old, I'm not. How can you mean, are you going to tell me it's a micro impulse? I mean, seriously, I really think these people need, they need to they're out of their skulls at this point. But this is the kind of thing that's running the country. They're running the roost right now, and it's done. It's pretty much toast because of I've talked about the Frankfurt schools before, and basically, yeah, like, just total menace. Nothing means nothing. There's no values. Nothing means nothing. All of our values are shot to hell, if you ever had any. A high school diploma doesn't mean anything. You know what happened out of Oregon? The governor signing, basically suspending any type of requirements for reading, writing, and arithmetic for people of color. So we're just going to go with this whole, this ideology, and just go ahead and crash everything, and just be all about social protections that will lead us to no man's land. Everything's meaningless. Everything's purposeless in life or in the universe. Yeah, that's where we need to be going, right? That's where they're taking us. So I'm going to keep going. Sorry to go on a tangent there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Marcy T is here. Friends in Code says, look at hard drives. They used, quote, master and slave, end quote. And shout out to you, Friends in Code. Thank you for sharing out the stream. So I'm going to keep us going here. Like we're coming in hot right now. So we'll just keep going. Thank you so much for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And Friends in Code said, we did it to ourselves. Can't argue with you. Can't argue with you. Hello, Backyard Politics. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. So we're going to move on to another liner. So what I want to go to next is I'm going to go on to a liner in which we're going to deal with the ACB. If you guys are not familiar with, the infamous ACB was Amy Coney Barrett. She was a selectee. She was a selectee from the Trump administration, and I'm not impressed, and I'm not happy about what I'm about to show you. But I'm going to show it to you anyway. It's a liner that comes from Politico, and it looks like the students sought her at least. They reached out to her on some level on mandate. So I'm going to share that with you. And this is throwing caution to the wind. So we'll see what happens here. All right. But I'm just thinking, all these people, is there anybody that's not compromised? Just tell if anybody, just let us know. Okay. It just seems like it's a mess. Okay. I'm going to give you guys full screen on this. Because, everybody was rooting for Barrett, right? And look at this. Okay. This comes from Politico. Justice Amy Coney Barrett declines to block Indiana University's mocktail mandate. The Trump appointee acted alone in turning down a group of students who argued that the requirement infringed on their rights. All right. So this is the first. Everybody was so impressed with her. She was dazzling everybody last year with her, no notes on her responses. And she was dazzling, right? So this is that imagery from that time, from October 14th, 2020. So I'll keep going here. This was, not sure if this is Maeve or Maeve Sheehy. Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett on Thursday opted not to block an Indiana University mocktail mandate, giving no explanation as to why, in declining to unravel the school's rule that students, faculty, and staff must get the mocktail. Barrett, an appointee of President Donald Trump, is the circuit court justice for the Seventh Circuit, which covers Indiana. She denied the motion for emergency relief for multiple students who challenged the university's mandate, acting by herself rather than referring it to the full court. The university allows exemptions from the mandate for both religious and medical reasons. Notably, 7 of 8 students who filed the lawsuit had received an exemption or were eligible to get one. Indiana University is one of many institutions that have mandated mocktails as students head back into classrooms amid the spread of the Delta variant of the CV-19. The students who filed the lawsuit argued that the mocktail mandate violated the 14th Amendment and state law. Last week, a 3-judge panel of the 7th U.S. Circuit of Appeals also declined to block the mandate. At that point, a federal judge had already denied the students' attempt, saying the, quote, balance of harms and the public interest favor Indiana University, end quote. This decision comes as Republicans remain less likely to get the CV-19 mocktail, and far-right misinformation continues to spread. However, many Republican leaders have become more vocal in their support of the mocktail in recent weeks as the Delta variant surges in states with low mocktail rates. How do you like that? How's that coming in? All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I want to say hello to Old Head Deuce. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. And let's see, who else has come in? Marcy T says, we are so abused by power trippers. Shaking my head. Open my eyes. Marcy T says, I was under I was under battered women syndrome, believe they're sweet nothings. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure, at this point. I'm not sure who's there. Knock knock. Is anybody home? And I have a comment from Old Head Deuce. Old Head Deuce says obeying the law and staying out of the way isn't enough. Criminals for staying healthy. Interesting. All right, guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. So, and to the point of that Politico argument, yes, yeah, we've seen the Mitch McConnells, and we've seen other people, change their tune or, be more pro mocktail. Am I going to say why? I don't know what their motivations are, but I think it's probably have they changed their action? Did they actually change their position? I'm not convinced about that either. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to go into a story from the New American in which the Ohio judge orders a defendant to get the CV-19 mocktail as a condition of probation. Now, I'm pretty sure that's got to be violation somewhere, right? Somewhere. I'm not a legal counsel, but I would imagine. But it's almost like we don't have what is the law of the land? Who's running this place? Who's running it? I don't know. If you guys got any ideas, I'll be quiet and I'll be reproved. But I'll be right back right after this. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. So, who would have thought, I'm doing, this is probably considered throwing caution to the wind. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Give you guys the full screen on this one. Thanks so much for coming in. All right. So what we have here is from our friends once again over at the TNA. According to this, Ohio judge orders defendant to get the CV mocktail as condition of probation. It's written by Raven Clabo. According to this, a Hamilton County, Ohio judge has ordered a man to get mocktailed against the CV-19 as a condition of his probation or risk jail time. On August 4th, Common Pleas Judge Christopher Wagner ordered Brandon Rutherford to be mocktailed within 60 days as a condition of his probation for possession of fentanyl. WCPO reports if Rutherford fails to follow the conditions of his probation, he could face up to 18 months in a state prison. Quote, I'm just a judge, not a doctor, but I think the mocktail's a lot safer than fentanyl, which is what you had in your pocket, in quote, said Wagner during the hearing. According to the WCPO, quote, you're going to maintain employment. You're not going to be around a firearm. I'm going to order you within the next 2 months to get a mocktail and show that to the probation office. Okay, end quote. According to the Epoch Times, Wagner was made aware of Rutherford's mocktail status during the hearing because Rutherford appeared in the courtroom wearing a mask. And though Rutherford did not dispute Wagner's order during the hearing, he later told CNN that he would refuse the mocktail and believed he was in an unfair position. Quote, because I don't take a shot, they can send me to jail. I don't agree with that. End quote. Rutherford said, quote, I'm just trying to do what I can to get off this as quickly as possible, like finding a job and everything else. But that little thing, a CB mocktail, can set me back, end quote. But Wagner is not backing down and continues to defend his ruling, comparing it to other court orders pertaining to the defendant's health. Quote, the court's responsibility when issuing a community control sanction is to rehabilitate the defendant and protect the community, end quote, Wagner wrote in a statement to the WCPO. quote, judges make decisions regularly regarding a defendant's health and mental health, such as ordering drug, alcohol, and mental health treatment, end quote. In response to Rutherford's opposition to the condition, Wagner added, quote, we might have to hold a hearing if the defendant has a good reason not to take the mocktail. The defendant's attorneys, as of now, is not asking for a hearing, end quote. Wagner later told the Inquirer that Rutherford's case was the first in which he imposed mocktailation and will wait to see, quote, how this develops before doing so again, USA Today reported. Rutherford's attorney, Carl Lewis, believes Wagner is acting outside of his jurisdiction by mandating the mocktail as a condition of Rutherford's probation. Quote, when you hear that, you're like, whoa, end quote, Lewis said August 5th. Quote, I don't think the judges are within their powers to do that, end quote. Unfortunately, Wagner was not the first to do so and likely will not be the last. According to USA Today, Franklin County Common Pleas Judge Richard Fry mandated the mocktail as a condition of probation in 2 cases in Ohio. Likewise, 2 Cuyahoga County judges offered defendants lesser probation terms if they opted to get mocktailed. Lewis said he does not intend to challenge Wagner's order since he does not expect that the judge will take action if Rutherford does not get mocktailed. In the event Wagner does take action, Lewis believes it will, quote, open the door for lawyers to litigate the issue, end quote. Quote, I just don't believe he can do this legally, end quote, he said. Ohio Supreme Court spokesman Ann Yeager said the court has not created any guidelines on this issue, so it has fallen to the judgment of the courts. Quote, local courts have a great deal of discretion in crafting probation terms, end quote. Yeager said the Supreme Court, quote, does not generally get involved in those matters except through cases brought before it through its appellate docket, end quote. Sadly, this discretionary overreach is not limited to the courts. Discriminating policies against unmocktailed individuals are frighteningly becoming the, quote, new norm, end quote. Colleges across the country, for example, have announced penalties for unmocktailed students. At Rhodes College in Memphis, unmocktailed students who have not obtained a waiver will be charged a health and safety fee of $1,500. West Virginia Wesleyan College opted against mandating mocktails, but will be charging unmocktail students a non-refundable $750 COVID fee for the 2021 semester. Officials announced in its CV-19 update for the fall. Dean James Moore told WDTV that, quote, the fee is going to be used to cover the expenses that will come with increased testing and other resources that the college will have to utilize and deploy to keep every student safe, end quote. This is really dense, guys. This is my first hearing of some of these things. So I had no idea. Okay. Employers are also starting to charge on mocktail workers higher healthcare costs, according to global consulting firm Mercer. Quote, if an employee is unmocktailed and contracts a CV-19 infection that requires hospitalization and creates higher claims costs, this could impact the employer's bottom line and mean higher future contributions for other employees, end quote. The consulting firm said in a statement to Fox News on Monday. Meanwhile, the CV outbreaks amongst the mocktailed are affecting professional sports games. The New York Yankees' July 15th series opener against the Boston Red Sox, for example, was abruptly postponed after 3 fully mocktail Yankees tested positive for the virus. 6 fully mocktail Democratic Texas lawmakers who traveled to Washington, D.C. to avoid a vote on priority voting bills during a special legislative session tested positive for the CV-19. And Israel, considered a, quote, poster child of sorts for mocktail nation, has seen a rise in cases, with most of the CV positive individuals having been mocktailed. As of August 2nd, the CDC reported that more than 7,000 breakthrough CV cases resulted in hospitalization or death, a number that could be significantly higher, it seems. The medical community is hesitant to contribute causes of death and or injury to mocktails, and this phenomenon is not just limited to the CV mocktails. And still, there are many more breakthrough CV cases that are not being that are not being recorded by the CDC because they have not resulted in hospitalization or death. LifeSite News reported. You guys get the pick in the language up here? So here's the deal. And this is my understanding. So here again, if you got something else, bring it. Breakthrough and outbreak. So you can decide which one you will be. Isn't the breakthrough a much more progressive and much more positive? I mean, I don't make this stuff up. I don't make the rules. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. So yes, our final liner on today will be from the what they call the city. Should I call it the city of Chicago or the war zone of Chicago? It's going to include the Chicago mayor and her support for canceling the honor guard bagpipes ceremony for the officer Ella French. So we're going to go there next. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I really appreciate it. All right, so we're going to take a quick little break and I'll be right back. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we're going to move on to our final liner on this segment. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And so this is our final liner for today. All right, so I'm going to give you full screen on this. Is anybody out here from Chicago? I rarely ask. I have yet to do. Where's everybody from? Maybe we'll do that at the end, and I'll put the link out there and at the close of this one. Okay, so let's dig in here really quick. According to this, a disgraceful Chicago mayor backs decision to cancel honor guard and bagpipes for fallen officer Ella French. Police superintendent says, we don't have time. We don't have 20 minutes, quote, for that splat, splat, splat. Okay, so here you go. You have tensions between the Chicago police and Mayor Lori Lightfoot are higher than ever in the aftermath of the murder of 29-year-old officer Ella French, who was shot while conducting a traffic stop over the weekend. French was the first female officer shot and killed in Chicago in 33 years. And as customary, her fellow officers were ready to pay tribute in the same way they do for all of their other brothers and sisters that have fallen in line of duty, with an honor guard marching to the sound of bagpipes for her final farewell. Unfortunately, the deputy police superintendent didn't have 20 minutes, quote, for that splat, end quote. In an appalling and disgraceful decision, Eric Carter made the call to take French's body be taken directly into the medical examiner's office, where she would be laid to rest without the traditional ceremonies afforded to officers who have been killed. Okay, according to this, Julian Conradson, loathsome Mayor Lori Lightfoot, supports decision to cancel bagpipes and honor guard for slain Chicago police officer Ella French. CPD deputy superintendent made the call, said, we don't have time, quote, for that, quote. What a disgrace. Officer French deserved better. I'll say, from the two-party system, okay, I really don't. 1 minute they are trying to defund and cancel the police, but then you have them applauding the Jan 6 officers. They just can't. They just go where the wind blows. Who knows? It wasn't just a decision to rob the force of their ability to walk with their sister one last time. It was also the way they heard the news from Eric Carter over the scanner that outraged them. Quote, we don't have 20 minutes for that. We're not waiting on the bagpipes. Go ahead and get the vehicle inside. Take it all the way inside. Do not stop, Carter said, according to transmissions. Wish they had that here. Mayor Lightfoot defended Carter as she angrily snapped at reporters and called them liars in a press conference on Thursday. The abhorrent mayor said that the superintendent, quote, made the right call, end quote, and supports his decision to rush the funeral procession and not allow the traditions to occur. Just like everything else with these radicals nowadays, CV was the excuse she pointed to while crying victim. Quote, the reporting on that is just not true. It's not true. With CV protocols, the coroner has made a lot of new restrictions on what can and cannot happen at the morgue, is my understanding. Eric Carter made the right call. I support what he did, and I'm horrified that in this moment people are trying to savage him for whatever agenda or purpose, end quote. Oh man, she is absolutely despicable. The COVID-19 cudgel is that splat nobody has time for. This is the same mayor who was just 2 weeks ago green-lighted Lollapalooza to take place in her city, which she attended maskless with a crowd of over 385,000. So as you can see, you can see this. I mean, the CV rules are for the little people. 400,000 fans and maskless Lori Lightfoot party at the Lollapalooza Chicago Festival. Did you guys go to that? Lightfoot also claimed that there was no, quote, official, end quote, honor guard available and instead disrespected the officers who were gathered and ready to pay their respects, calling them an unorganized group that wanted to, quote, hijack the procession, end quote. Quote, there was no official honor guard that night. There was, let me choose my words very carefully, a well-meaning but not well-organized group that wanted to hijack the procession, which would have meant that the family would have been exponentially delayed in getting to the morgue. Not only are her excuses complete BS, they are also outright lies. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office said in a statement that rules for processions have not changed since the pandemic began, and there have been no additional restrictions put in place. Quote, protocols for processions at the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office have not changed since the pandemic began. First responders have always gathered in the parking lot and dock to pay respects to fallen police officers and firefighters. Early Sunday morning, police officers gathered in the parking and dock area as usual, and bagpipers accompanied the body of Officer Ella French through the parking lot to the dock. At no time did personnel from the medical examiner's office try to impede officers or bagpipers. It's no wonder dozens of cops turned their backs to this fraud when she visited the other officer who was with French when she was killed. Her partner was also struck by gunfire and is currently fighting for his life in the University of Chicago Medical Center. When Lightfoot arrived, she was clearly not welcome and was scolded by the father of the recovering officer for good reason. Okay, so I guess this was a demonstration here that you have imagery for. Shows dozens of Chicago police officers turn their backs to Lightfoot during a hospital visit for a critically injured officer. The officials in Chicago are a disgrace and should be ashamed of themselves. Officer French deserved better for giving her life in the line of duty. Rest in peace. That's very sad and very disturbing. At the same time, I'm not surprised. I expect more. I expect more of that to continue. I just don't know. I don't know. I just don't know where we're going as a nation. I really don't. It just seems like, the criminals are represented by the politicians represent the criminals and their criminal constituents. They're loyal to them. And and Chicago is already pretty much it's lost, and she will do nothing. She will do nothing to protect them or to honor them. She will not. So I'm surprised that they still even have officers there at this point. I really am. So thank you guys once again for tuning into this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I really appreciate it. I do want to say hello. I'm actually going to put this link out here just for a bit here. So we've covered about 4 things. The only thing I'm going to say, if you decide to pick up the link, then I just ask if you try to keep it in those, keep it around, either choose 1 or 2 two of those, or also like I'm not going to go into any type of arguments against any of the things that are actually going on with the CV-19 or the variants, or I'm not going to go into any of that. I'm just, I'm just saying there is no representation is pretty much where I am at the highest level, the lowest level. In fact, they're just kind of making things up as they go along. There's a new modality of criminality. What can I say? So I'm going to just put the link there for you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Nick Smith is here. Thank you so much for coming in. It looks like I saw some other people here. Was it? I saw Backyard Politics, and I saw somebody else in here. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. I didn't see Jermaine G. Hi, Jermaine G. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Luciano was here yesterday, and yeah, so there again, I apologize because I did not get it done, but technical difficulties sometimes slow things down and take a little bit more time consuming than I expected. But there was somebody else here. Was it Survivor? I can't think. Maybe I saw you in here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Nick Smith. And thank you for those of you who are over on Twitch. I have a new person on Twitch there. Thank you so much for tuning in. So yes, the link is actually out there. So I'm going to take a quick little break. And look who I have. A new person. It's Marcy T. Hi, Marcy T.
Surprise! I never talk, I know. How are you? A new person.
Hi, Marcy.
Surprise! I never talk, I know. How are you? How are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was my fault there. I said you keep the seeds you keep planting the seeds in the chat, and you also sprinkle the water. So what have you got for us today on live?
I don't know. I'm just sitting here feeling like I'm in La La Land, and I can't understand what's going on. I don't even know how to act anymore. I don't know. And I mean, I'm sitting here just praying all day long, and I can't understand.
Hang on a second. We have a little bit of feedback.
Echo. Which one is it? Me? And I mean, I'm sitting here. Let me see. Praying all day long. I can't understand.
It's a bit of a delay. Okay, so I'm gonna mute myself, and then you go.
Well, how's this now? Can you hear me? Okay. So I just been sitting here, and it's like I've reached a point of no return. Whatever that means. It's like I'm not going to take this anymore. And I am a mama bear. I'm old school. I'm in a older generation, and I'm a grandmother and a mother. And I've got the best health report, Autumn, this year that I ever got in my entire life. And I never masked. I didn't social distance. I hugged, kissed everybody I saw. I was isolated though, but not, I walked all the time. So I know this is a farce. I'm living proof.
Well, that's pretty amazing that you've got that bill of health that it's at any time, that's amazing. And yeah, I keep it up. I mean, what can I say? Keep it up.
Yeah, right on. And it's just like, this has made me live more than I ever lived, I think, too, in a way, because I care about everything now. And before I didn't care about nothing. It was like, it was what I needed, what I got. It was like all of us did this. We didn't mean to. We're not evil. It's just the way they made it, right? Took us all out of our homes, made us not communicate with our children, our family. And my generation dropped the ball, I believe. I blame the boomers because we wanted to be your friend. And instead of that, we messed up majorly. So guess who has to fix it alongside you? It's us, right?
Well, I'm gonna say this, that I have said that I blame that. Well, do I want to use the word blame? I just think that, dare I say, the boomers, if you will. I just think that I think that I think people have waited too long for some cavalry or somebody to come marching in and save them. And I think they relied on that. And I'm going back and I'm talking people that from the civil rights era,
Right.
all of that. And I
I'm
think
one of the last boomer, but I'm still in that group.
I think that they put too much faith in one or two people, and they just got too complacent and they weren't doing anything for themselves. They weren't prepared to, they weren't looking beyond, like, right now. Well, what if this does not work out the way, who's gonna carry the torch, or who's going to do anything beyond? We can't just rely on one person. And
What I did was I didn't care. I ignored it. I said, I hate politics. I'm not talking. And they told us don't speak politics or religion. So I ignored it. And then I wake up and it's like, oh my God, look what we did.
yeah, well, at least you know where where the point of the turning point was for you,
Right.
like where you shut down and where you said, whoa.
And then finally it was like, nah, I'm the resistance now. Scary.
But at least, but I don't know you personally, Marcy T, but I think you have the humility, and you have the foresight to see, where you've been, and know that you don't want to keep going in the same direction.
All my friends had always been 10 years younger. And Autumn, I just graduated from U of M in 17.
No
and
way.
and I sat a year in grad school and then I had to get kicked out or forced out because I said chemtrails were geoengineering.
No
But
way.
see, I learned from my younger proteges. I love them. They have a lot. I listen to young people. I listen to even little children because sometimes out of the mouth of babes. So I'm not like the regular so-called boomer or the false dichotomy they made of us, because none of us are really in a label group like that, are we?
Yeah, no,
No.
I think they need to shut things down, or they use those kind of terms to either to continue conversation, or they use them to shut things down. But I just think that I think we kind of messed up, like, a long time ago. And I'm not saying that, people of, I'm not going to say my generation, I'm not going to say that we don't have any responsibility in this, but
We
I
all
know
did
that
it, so we
well,
all have to up and help now.
yeah, so I don't know what's the answer. I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I know that we all just can't dig a hole and tuck our heads in it and pretend like.
Here's what I think is my responsibility now. I have to get out there, and every time I come into a situation, I'm to explain what's going on with humility and to present it. And we have to learn to trust one another again. We have to learn to love and get over the obstacles that they have placed in front of us. Be scared of that one because they're like this. Be scared of this one because they're like that. We have to stop listening to the tell lies vision. And Autumn, I have I feel like you're my sister, and I feel like I know you. I love you because we're the same. I mean, we look different, and we're in different groups of age groups. But my God, you're just like me.
Well, I mean, I agree. I don't see you as, I mean, and I'm not going to pry and say, Marcy D, what's your background? What's your ethnicity, Marcy D? I'm not going to say
I'm
that.
half Native American.
Are you?
Mhm.
Well, there's no change. There's no change here. It's the same. I'm not gonna, but that's just not the way I've not had that. I don't have that kind of vision. I grew up with people of all backgrounds,
Me too.
and I had people. We had sleepovers at my house, even if we didn't have any money.
Yeah, us too. My mom.
Bring your own costumes. Bring your own costume this time, and I'll bring I got a bunch of hair supplies, and I got the makeup graveyard for you this time. Come on over.
Yep, that was the good old days, wasn't it?
It was. But you still have people that want to keep, they want to keep the narrative up. And sometimes I want to say even people in my family members, I want to say, you know what? You don't get paid to keep division going. Whatever you're following, those people that you're listening to right now, they're getting paid to keep division going. They're getting paid to keep you miserable right here. They're up here and you live the hell down here with me and the rest of us. So you best stop the drama. You know what you're saying is not true. And this is what I'm talking about, conspiracy theories. People that I consider people that tell lies. They're outright lies. You're saying your opinion is not, it's just because it's an opinion, it doesn't make it a fact. Just because you say it,
Right.
it's not a fact. Just because you call me a racist, it's still not a fact. You still have to come with some facts. You got to prove it. You got to prove it to me.
Yeah, and me.
And yeah. But they're trying to shut you down,
Right.
I'm just not easily, I've done my thing. And that means it's whatever's up here. Because if you don't do your own thing,
Right.
it doesn't go away. It just keeps coming back to you. If you're not happy, you're not satisfied, it's not going to go away.
Right.
It's not. That's kind of like I talk about music. Some people say, music chooses you. It's not going away.
Right.
I'm never gonna give it up, because what is there to give up? It's a part of me. It's part of me.
Mm-hmm.
The longer I stay away, I'm still going to go back to it. You can't talk me out of something that's a part of me. You can't change me. You can't change my thought.
See,
you can't.
I'm 100% behind you, and I love you very much. You are just a breath of fresh air to me.
Well, Marcy, I really appreciate that, and love to you too. I mean, like I said, I'm just not, like I said, as a teacher. But see, this is it's like a conflict of interest is what we're dealing with right now. It's like people are revealing them true selves. Like if you can segregate students, I find, in a classroom, then to me, you had no business being in the classroom in the first place. You never, because as a teacher going on a field trip, I'm never going to say, okay, well, all the black kids, if you guys run out of money, I'm going to make sure you have something to eat. But you white kids over there, your mom had a better car than me 5 years ago. I'm not helping you. I mean, let me give you some teacher talk here. Like, this is just some things that I observed as a teacher. Many times, of course, we know that there are, dare I say, free lunch programs. There's Title I schools, different types of schools. And a lot of times you'd see parents coming through in the lines in the morning, and parents are complaining, hey, that mom's driving an Infiniti, and guess what? All her kids are getting free lunch. But they happen to be people that look like me, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know why people do the things that they do. But I've never been a person to be envious or jealous towards anyone. I can afford what's I can afford, and what's for me is for me, and what you can afford and what you can do for you is for you. But I'm not going to sit here and say somebody's kid deserves less care because their mom is driving a better car than me. A lot of times the parents are driving better cars than the teachers. Is that something wrong? Is that a problem with the parents, or is it a problem with the system? Is it a problem with the school? How can we fix everything? Can we fix everything, or everybody that's working the system? Can we do that? The
And I
government can't do it either, Marcy.
no, they can't. Look, Autumn, I was a registered nurse. I worked in surgery. I was specialized. I worked with doctors that we did a medical mission in the Dominican Republic, and these pompous asses said, "Oh, um, it would be beautiful in Dominican if it wasn't for the people and cutting them down and talking behind their back." I wasn't down with that talk. But I didn't say anything back then because I was under the, you don't say stuff. Well, I didn't back then and I was wrong. But it made me sick. I had to get out of it.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I mean, and we never get, Marcy, we never get compensated for all that we do. That's right. You never get compensated for every hour that you work. You never get compensated for all the hours that it took you to get you to start the work date. You don't. And I've never looked for that. But I'm just saying, it just seems like humanity right now is in a bad place. A lot of us want to be left alone.
I do. Like, don't come near me, please. I'm scared of you people at this point that you want to forcibly. When I know my body and myself and it's my choice, I'm a free woman. Per Lord God Almighty. But you can't do this to us.
Well, I just don't. I mean, all I can say is I think you have a solid spirit, and I certainly appreciate what you bring to the channel, to the community. I really do. And I just think that I'm a person who respects humanity, and that's what I want to uphold, and I want to preserve that. And I'm not going to ask anybody to do anything that they don't want to do.
Right. And I'm with you 100%, honey. I'm in the fight that you're in, and we're in it together.
And I know everybody has a different reason for why they do what they do, but it needs to be for your reasons, though. It doesn't need to be based on what I'm going to think or what I'm doing for me.
Children, I'm horrified what they're doing because that math, it retards because they need 100% oxygen through their airway and breathing system, and it retards the younger, the more.
Well, I can say, for the lack of a better word, for the overlords that are watching us right now, stay in the fight, or but I don't have the answers. I don't have
that's
them.
why we all are here to work together, and we'll all together come and we'll do it because we got determination and we got perseverance and we got love, most of all, and we care. So we're not going to go down without a fight.
No, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be as. It seems like it's already not working out the way,
The more we put our 2 cents in, the more people are going to go. I've seen it. This woman that was bragging about taking shots, she now regrets it because of the protein shakes, And she's got her grandson.
That was brilliant. Shakes, protein shakes. I like protein shakes.
Not from
not
them.
Those kind. Not that kind.
You remember Hitler.
Hey, and every now and then, if you're working, you get a good shake. That's the shake you need right here in that area.
Exactly. Feel like I'm going nuts, but I'm not. I know I'm not.
No, you're not. And don't be convinced, that you are. I mean,
it's like they are. And they're trying to make us seem like we are. And it's like, no, I will deny that till my death.
Well, we're gonna hope that it doesn't come to that, but we're gonna, I said I don't know. Like I said, I did tell you guys that I am joining you guys from not the West Coast anymore.
So. Good. Yes. You should have ran. I got out there
Tell
yelling
us how you really feel, Marcy. I should have ran. Come on.
that. How do you put up with Mr. Gruesome?
He just
Oh,
waves
I
his
got
hands around all the time as if yeah, he I guess did Auntie Pelosi teach him that? If I wave my hands around, people think I know what I'm talking about. That kind of a thing. But I was really concerned, because I honestly don't think that I don't know if he's going to get out or not. I don't.
What do you
Um,
think of them saying all you the teachers, all 550,000 have to do this? You think they're going to do it?
I think that some of them. I think people are gonna. I think they're gonna resist. I mean, what did we call? We're gonna
Oh,
call this civic
that's
disobedience.
a
I think it's
hard.
worse than that. It's. I don't know what, but it's the same. I don't know. It's gonna really show where that you had some teachers who actually wanted to get back to their classrooms last year, and I think the ones who, I think some of them will cave. How many? I don't know. Um, but we all know that teachers don't make a ton of money,
Right.
so it's that's where they're breaking us. And I think this is the other point that many people don't understand. No matter where your political leaning is, they're kind of letting us know you're going to have to choose.
Mhm.
That's what they're letting you know. You're not going to be able to have one foot over here and one foot over there
That's
anymore.
why I'm out of nursing now. Autumn, you have the power right now with your voice to say, look here, teachers, don't you think there's going to be a big rush for home teachers? There's a big market opening up there
It
that
is.
that they're not even looking at because they're looking at the one tree versus the whole forest. See, there's things we can think about if we group think and get it out there. Like nursing, same thing.
But I will say this, and this is probably going to be a little subjective, but it's because I've been a teacher, and I have friends that are still teachers, but it's almost like they are they believe everything. They believe a lot of what they're told, and they do what they're told. But it's also coming down from the upper elite are telling them what to do. I
That's
mean, I find it's amazing that the
you think
way
it's because nursing and teachers are mostly women?
I
Because
would
it's the same in nursing.
really.
Yes, we don't stick up for ourselves. We just bend over and say, okay, that's why I'm not there no more.
Well, but there are a lot. It seems like we are hearing more from nurses and from because the first responder, you're a first responder, a teacher's a first. At just this point, everybody's a first responder. Can you think of anybody that's not a
Nope,
first responder in this lifetime, right now,
nope,
this moment? Who's not a first responder?
nobody. That's why I teach my grandchildren CPR, how to do it.
Good, excellent. When did you do that? I mean, did you
Since
just
they
need you to
were,
do it with them?
yep, just playing with them. We're going to play nurse. Grandma's the nurse, and I'm going to teach you how to keep somebody alive.
That's see, you're passing on skills. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like it's a class that somebody would have to go and register for, or a class that somebody would have to pay money for, but you're actually passing that down. Like, I bet you can set up an OR room too.
Oh,
What
yes.
else are you doing?
I play with them like that, though. I'm hands-on, but I don't get to see them much because of the situation and all this 2 years of.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Well, I totally admire you for that. I mean, yeah, what better way? Like, well, I was saying this, like, for instance, like for me, the musician in me says, okay, nephew, you're going to sit with your hands in the 5-finger pattern today for your lunch.
Yeah.
So they don't even know. They have no idea what I'm doing. But you've learned your left, you've learned your right. Your fingers on the left and the right. You're getting all this in at one time, but you don't know why you're doing it, but you're doing it.
Yeah. Autumn, my mama was a teacher.
Was she?
Yeah, Head Start director for Genesee County. I was one of the first Head Start kids ever in the nation in the 60s.
Wow.
69, I think it was. Yeah, my mom was a great teacher, man. And we used music too. I got all kinds of music. I play music with them too.
That's excellent. But it's like it's also, to me, that's why I never that's a career that doesn't feel like a career. It's just something that you enjoy doing, and the kids learn a ton of things at one, a ton of concepts at one can be introduced just, in the daily routine. And before you know it, they've already got it. They've got it down.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah.
My mom taught me that though. So a teacher is very influential in my life because it was my mom. So of course I'm going to gravitate towards you. And I think that's why it was, because you have that appeal that like pulls old souls towards you, and they're like, yeah, this young lady has a lot to say. That's right. And I need to listen.
Well, the only thing that I just like, kids, don't get on you're 16, don't get on the McDonald's Playland stuff this time. Just
Oh,
don't.
exactly.
But that's the thing, that it was all that's hard. That's a hard thing to deny at the same time, because kids, part of you don't ever want kids to lose that feeling of, don't lose the feeling too early that you're still a kid, because you got a long time to be in this.
Yes.
You got longer to be out here without that kid awning and
Yeah.
those protections over you.
Oh, I
But
wish I was a kid right now.
I know. So it's, but I really, I admire you, but I'm just saying that particular story that I talked about earlier, in terms of, ACB not really, supporting those kids. But I'm also hearing that people are being denied other, exemptions and whatnot. It's just, who do you have, Marcy? Who do you got? Who do you have?
I don't have, well, I have my sons and that's it in my life. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I'm saying there's no, when
Oh,
all the institutions fail and all of this, it's just going to be us, at the end of the day, and
in
that's it.
2000, let me tell you this one thing. Nobody heard this out loud, but in 2017, I took a refresher course for the career that I had spoken of earlier. And it said, not now, but in the near future, would you be willing to withhold health care for the ability of someone to pay or not? And I ripped it up, and I wasn't a nurse anymore. That was 2017.
Wow. So you could see the writing, you could see where things were
Because I've
going.
been a so-called conspiracy theorist.
Okay. On that note, name five theories that haven't come true, that had no basis, that have not come true. I mean,
I can't. They're everything that like we thought was coming, and I've been screaming this for 10 years or more, is exactly what we've been screaming. It's finally here, so it's kind of like surreal. But that's why I'm calm about it too, because it's like I knew this was coming. And that's why I open my mouth so much and I scream and yell, because it's like I need people to know we don't have time to be kind and, oh, come on, you can think about it. It's like, wake up now. The time is here. I've been here a long time, 59 years, girl.
well, I think you're doing, like, just keep doing what you're doing.
I've
Is
seen the changes though. I lived the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and saw the progression of corruption. It wasn't like that.
Well, like I said, I think you're one of a kind, and I appreciate you for all your support, for supporting the channel, because I did tell everybody, I've been baptized in the warning system here from the overlords, and
Yeah.
who knows, we could all be snipped, at any time,
We need a voice.
Well, and that's why I'm just thinking, okay, am I going to come up with another way? Am I going to come up with another way to do this? Because I don't want to speak in, it's so cumbersome to speak in code
Yes,
and the self-censoring. And shout out to Derek C. Williams, because Derek C. Williams is like, no way. You got something to say it.
I love
You know?
Derek. He is brilliant. Every time I see his comments, it's like I fall in love with them over and over again.
Derek C. Williams, are you out there?
No, he's not. He left. But anyway, seriously, he's a smart man.
He really is. He really is.
Oh, Goosehead. Oh man.
There he is.
I met some awesome people just chatting on here because we got locked down together.
That's it. Yeah, well, I've only been, it seems like I'm going into year 2.5 or something on a YouTube, but a lot of people, some people have stuck around and some of them really faded away. And I'm not sure how that happened or why it happened, but it's like for everybody that went away, it was somebody else came along. So,
Yeah.
It's not that I don't miss them, but it's just that, some people have survived and I really appreciate that. So
I appreciate you, but I'll shut up now. Look, me and you could talk all night, all day. I would love to hang out at the beach with you.
Yeah, you're from. Were you born? Were you born in Michigan?
No, I was born in Chicago.
Okay. Oh, look who you stirred up.
Oh, Derek, I love you.
Hi, Derek C. Williams. What have you got for us today? We're always talking about you on this show.
All right, well, shout out and respect due. Thank you. Shout out and respect due to Black Spring with Autumn Intelligence Done Right. Miss Marcy T. of Michigan by way of Chicago. How are you, young lady?
I'm great, Derek.
All right. Well, as you can see, I'm at work for the interim because, as you all know, they're mandating the jab in our health system. Of course, I'm not taking it, and so what it is, it's actually better for them to actually let you go and then you sue their ass. But I'm trying to, along with the religious exemption, I got some other stuff bubbling on the back burner. But if all else fails, I'm definitely going to walk because I've been sending Black Spring with Autumn stuff this whole time. I'm not currently making videos because the second channel was taken because what I did, your moderator, Black Spring, your moderator, Jermaine G knows this to be true. The San Francisco Gay Men's Choir put up a video and they were saying, we're going to convert your children. So I put that on the last channel. YouTube saw that, flagged it, and everybody else who put it on their channel, they not only took theirs down, but in my case, they went to go check all my content and let them tell it. I had extreme community guideline violations. So they took that channel. And so that's why I'm not on YouTube. So I just don't even mess with it no more. And it's kind of funny because it's almost 3 years to the date. In July of 2018, I did my first video. So I don't mess with YouTube like that no more. Susan Wojcicki is a straight up and down tyrant. Anytime folks is trying to bring up information that could help people, they blocking all these people, Dr. Mercola, Rashid Buttar, Sherry Tenpenny, Carrie Madej, and all these people that are talking, because again, I'm in the medical field. It's in me to want to help people. And so I never said that you don't not listen. I'm not a doctor, but all this stuff can easily be vetted. And that's all I was on. You do your own due diligence. So I'm just saying that really quickly, because I'm when you said I'm a brilliant man, no, I'm not. It's just the fact that I just read a lot. That's all. And I was just messing with old head Deuce in the chat. We got much bigger fish to fry than ignorance on YouTube. We got way more bigger fish to fry than that. So I don't even get it. I never was really into the drama stuff anyway. So, I just was messing with him about that. But the fact of the matter is that we're finding ourselves having to self-censor, talking cool, and all of these things. I thought we were in America, but clearly we are in 1930s Germany. And the video that I sent Black Spring with Autumn on yesterday, I won't even say anything, but I'll let Black Spring with Autumn explain that video if she so chooses. but Snap Turtle did a video this morning talking about, they're coming for your kids. And I'll let Black Spring with Autumn pick up right there if she so chooses. But I sent her a video that was scared to make the hair on your neck stand up. And that's where we are in our country. And I think all of us, wherever you can, you got to. I'm sorry. Say that again.
I think I saw that video. Video. Was it a little girl?
There you go. Yep. There you go. Well, Black Spring with Autumn. This is her show. If she wants to talk about it, she can. But I just want to come on and just say that I still run with most everybody that I do. It's just that I don't make video for the simple fact that you can't say nothing. And so what good is it if you can't speak your truth? I'm not calling for violence. I'm not disrespecting women or children. I'm just speaking information that can be vetted, but you can't do that. And so I just say, let me step aside, and y'all got that. But I'm still around YouTube. And just thank you for the compliment, Marcy T. Black Spring with Autumn. I love you to pieces. I'm still gonna send you stuff when I get it. And y'all ladies take care of yourself here.
Thank you so much, Derek. And
Love
you
Thank
stay
you.
strong out there.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, all right. Well, both of y'all take care. Salute to your chat. All right.
Thank you so much, Derek C. Williams. Thank you.
All right.
Have a
Yes,
good
ma'am.
day.
Well, is there anybody else here to talk to you, or did I?
I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. That was Derek C. Williams, and he's been in the chat. And Derek has been around for a long time as well, and he's a great supporter of the channel. And as you heard from him, he speaks very well for himself and for his intent and for his convictions. He has always had the courage of his convictions, as well as Marcy T. So thank you so much, Derek C. Williams and Marcy T. Like I said, I'm glad to have you here and your support. So but let me just see if I can creatively, I've seen everything. I'm going to say, I've seen everything from predatory offerings when it comes to this, to the mocktail, and to see things and to see kids being, it's hard. It was hard for me to watch. Not only was it hard for me to watch, it's like, well, what's wrong with these? What's wrong with these people?
That's what I thought.
Can you not read? Don't tell me we don't have this in my small town. Can you read? You convinced somebody to give you a high school diploma or something. So you tell me you can't read? You can't read where you're from? The Oregon mayor, the governor just signed that bill about kids not having to prove that they could do that. But have you considered anything about what's going on before you put your kid in front of, but I'm telling you, Marcy T, the more I think about this, we've seen videos in the past about kids being held down, or, that's like the first pain. Like, I think kids learn how life is not fair, and it comes from the mocktails, the mocktail cards that we already own.
I remember my first ones to this day, and I'm 59. It was that traumatic. I cried all the way from the Indian reservation I lived on to the hospital, and then they put a scar in my leg too that my mom almost slapped the nurse. She told me.
Well, I think you're
right.
That's, to me, that's one of the first times, that the first betrayal. Mm-hmm. I think that's the first sign of betrayal. We learn it from our parents. Yeah. You let this person do this to me. They did it in front of you. So what is your excuse?
Yes.
And I've even been told that my first mocktail, I had a lot of attitude to follow it up with, like, what did you let them do to me? I was fine before now. Like, I was a baby, and I was like, give me to my grandma. I'm not going to you anymore. Give me to my grandma. You let that lady do that, so you give me to her. I'll take her instead of you, because you taught me betrayal, and you just kept teaching it to me.
Yeah.
But that's another story.
But they did it to us, and they did it to them, and they did it to them. And Autumn, my grandparents were respectively born in 1900. My Indian grandparents, full bloods, and they met in Indian school. Grandma Smith was in Walpole Island, Canada. So my family's being found in Canada under Catholic churches now that they
Wow.
sacrificed the Indian babies. And they took her from Port Huron to Central Michigan University now. And that was an Indian school. And we would sit around the campfire on the reservation visiting our families. And we would tell spooky stories about this. Terror stories. And I thought it was fake until this.
Wow. Well, I'm telling you, Marcy T, I have at times I have no words because I have no words, but I don't like to see. I mean, it's one thing like who's going to okay, we protect the kids, but then if we protect the kids, but if the adults are not there, if the parents aren't there, if we're not standing up for the kids, then who's going to protect them? It's got to be more than just they're running. I just think that we've believed in too many people,
We did.
too many men.
We believe
that's not to be sexist.
I'm not trying to be weird either, but I think I believed in too many fantasies and fairy tales. And I'm just waking up to that fact that I was tricked my entire life by this system of whatever it is. But I believe it has everything to do with the last book in the Bible, the book of Revelation. Everything to do with it. I mean, you couldn't, this is written crazy. That's why I always am like this.
But it's funny. It's funny. It's funny you say that. It's funny because I'm telling you, I think this whole thing is revealing a lot about people. I mean,
Yeah.
it's revealing a lot about people, about their sense of faith. Like the spectrum of faith has been much wider.
Yeah.
And much more nuanced than I ever thought, because I'm like, wait a minute, this person seemed to have more faith than me growing up. This person went to more Sunday schools, more Bible schools than I do. But you were the first one to just hold up like a paper bag. And you're telling me I'm
right.
You're looking at me.
Religion. See that? I wasn't raised religious. It did something to them religious people.
But but the thing about it is, it's like this same person that I'm talking about. It's like it's like, wait a minute, that didn't do you any good, right? It seems like whatever you were doing, that didn't do you any good, right? You're worse off than me in ways, right? In some ways, like, and that's not me to condemn or judge anyone about what they believe or anything, but
surprises you.
Yes, but then also I just think that some people, I think they in their religion or in their faith, they have literally read things like more fiction, like, but you didn't live, you didn't live, you didn't realize any of it, where it applied anywhere. Mm-hmm. Who are they? Who are your standards, your commandments, or what is this?
Yes.
What are we doing?
You go like this, stop it. And I'm not going to be your friend till you knock it off.
Yeah, well, I mean, and honestly, I don't have these conversations with these people, but I am stunned. I'm a little bit I'm a little bit surprised.
Them, honey. Just have them with them. Just say, look, there's another perspective that says this. So you are not your opinion. Do you understand this, my friend? No, to them, you're talking.
Yeah, well, I just don't even, I just honestly at this point, I just, you can't just do what you do.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sick of you. Leave me alone. That's why I talk so much to you, because you and me are in the same, thing. And these people, I can't even have a conversation with them.
Well, let me just say this. Let me just say this. And this is something that my dad used to say this all the time. And he was saying this like 5 years ago, or probably 10 years ago. Maybe I heard it 5 years ago. Okay. But he would say all the time, he would say the Bible is fulfilling, is what he would say. He would say that all of the time. And I said, Dad, okay. But but obviously he had something, he knew some insight that I didn't have. And there's no way I'm not going to challenge my dad, because he was raised in strict settings. Two things you have to do. You got to go to church. Three things you have to do. You got to go to work. You got to go to church. You got to go to school. If you don't go to work, you got to go to school. And you're going to church. That's the way it was. There's no negotiation on two of those. At least two of those.
All right.
So, but some people, everybody's got their own opinion about what's going on right now. But all I can say is you better be prepared.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised where you wind up.
And don't be afraid. Because it's the Wizard of Oz. He's going to reveal himself and we're going to go, that's you? Oh my. And we were scared of you.
That's a good one, Marcy.
It's true.
Well, I appreciate you so much for coming on, Marcy T. And like I said, because I was on. Let me ask you this: are you getting any kind of notifications for the ones that I happen to? Yeah, I think they've actually capped things off where you can't get it. You know what I mean?
Autumn, I can't even hit the bell notification now, and my thing drops down. I keep hitting it; it won't do it. It won't show me my notifications now. They are on fire right now to shut us up, and it's wrong. And all our commentary was for documentary purposes and is under fair use.
Right. Well, let me say this now. Now, I'm going to close with this one. I'm going to say this. Did we flatten the curve? Does anybody know?
What? We forgot about that because they came up with this one in Lambda and Delta, the nerds, the Revenge of the Nerds. You hear this? Lambda Delta. Bill Gates is not a nerd, is he? Great.
Well, I don't know. I guess we just have to keep our eyes open, but I certainly.
And we're gonna pray for each other, and we're gonna stand tall, and we're not gonna back down because they're doing that to the babies.
Oh yeah. That's exactly what I was seeing. And I'm like, who recorded that?
It pushed me over an edge where I won't go back now. And those were supposed to be, weren't those nurses?
Yeah, I think it was a ton of them.
A shame.
I think there was a ton of them.
There were 8 of them, if I counted correctly, 6 or 8.
That was a lot. There were a lot
because they were going to do this.
Really? You think they were? Oh,
I was a nurse. I never did that, but it was for like if they come in all messed up on opiates or something, we gave
that.
And then you got to do that to hold them down to give them a relaxer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the only time, but you don't, that's wrong.
Wow. But and let me just add this. If I'm not mistaken, it almost seems like, was that South America that was happening?
I think so. Or South Africa, because they had they were speaking another language. I thought.
Yeah, but the girl was she was terrified.
Yeah. That I cried, honey. I cried here by myself for about 3 hours after that, and I was horrified. And I knew I had to look at it though, because somebody has to tell what they saw, and we owe it to these babies to tell and say, "Look here, this is not right under any circumstance whatsoever at all. What happened to my body, my choice? Oh, you can kill your unborn child, but you can't stop them from," and they're trying to equate it with a toothbrush or a Q-tip. Excuse me, I don't stick my toothbrush in my vein, nor do I stick my Q-tip to give
halfway
me
up their skull. Halfway up their skull.
It's not invasive. Please humor me.
Oh my
I
God.
do have a brain. I mean, they want us to be.
It's not going to stop, is what my concern is.
Yeah.
It's
So
not.
we
It's
gotta
not
just
going to
take
stop.
it that it's time for us to go up there and no holds bar and say, we're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think, yeah, I think they've learned. I think they learned some lessons. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know
how to
what.
trick us better by, doing everything under the rug. And do you know doctors can't speak out on this now?
Oh
Or
yeah, yeah. I learned about that several months ago. And even if you ask that, to me, like if you ask a physician, if there's anything, if you're dealing with anything, if you have any issues going on, you'll find out.
Yeah,
They'll either pass the buck. Well,
it's always that diagnosis. My toe hurt. Well, I heard that's that diagnosis.
but you know what? Here's the other. I don't even like to be. I don't like. Don't ask me about it. Like I don't like for like. Why are you asking me? Is that what I'm here for today? Did my chart say I came here for that business today? No.
Here's what I'm doing next. This is my next plan is to say to them.
Yeah, that's true. That's a part of it. Another part of it is because I'm just thinking, but it also makes me question the entire community at this point.
It is.
If we can, if they can be this way on this, what else have they not been straight about? You know what I mean?
I've been studying this for over 20 years is when I started waking up because it just is like I stumbled onto things that just weren't right. And it woke me wide awake. And I'd like to tell you, well, you know what? I'd like to email you and
Send me, please do that. That was my next.
Because
That was my next suggestion.
the stuff I know and what I've seen with my own eyes, it's like that's why I'm Marcy and you've never met nobody like me because I'm on the other side of the Jordan now. I'm saying, come on, you guys, let's go. You can do it. Come on, trust me, don't trust them. Let's go. Let's go. 100% convinced.
Well, please do that, and you can email me anytime. I mean,
your email or it's probably on the site.
Here, it's just Black Spring. At here, I'll put it. It's Black Spring with Autumn at Gmail.
Okay.
Okay,
I got it. That's easy enough to remember.
I mean, I'll put it in here.
I mean, I'd like to really touch base with you and talk maybe, because I don't type good. Here's how I type on.
That's okay.
But I could talk real good on the phone or texting. But
well, yeah, and then even over on the subscription based end, you can send stuff over there too. It's fine. I'll respond. I'll respond either way. But
okay.
I'm sure it's almost like we need some networks. We need some networks going on. Some real networks going on.
And not count on the phone. Because
no, and even this is going to go away.
This is over. Yeah, the phone. I'm ready to throw it
because where it's all tapped. It's pretty much tapped anyway right now.
They gaslight me day in, day out. I have my phone. It's 100%. I'll unplug it, turn it on. It's 0.
Well, I appreciate it so much, Marcy T. And I'm going to, just send me anything you want, and then we're gonna wrap up. Yes. Do you have any final thoughts for the chat?
No,
I have taken you from the chat room.
Do not be afraid. I'm an old lady all by myself, but I'm gonna fight. Don't be afraid. It's just a trick. It's here. This is where they're hitting us, and it's called menticide, and it's real. You can look it up, and that means to murder the mind. And how they do it is with chaos, constant bombardment, double messages, double speak, gaslighting, treating you like you're crazy. It's called menticide. Look it up. Okay, it's Latin. That's my last thought.
Menticide.
Use, use the neural pathways in your brain. Do not be a follower. Use your mind. Listen to your small, still voice. Okay, love you guys.
All right.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna beat these. Love you.
Thank you so much. Love to you too, Marcy T. All right, thank you. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you to Marcy T. I appreciate it for coming in on the. We started out on the woke. We started out on the woke real. All right, guys, I thank you guys so much for tuning into this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And I want to thank Marcy T for coming in. And, Marcy plants a seed everywhere. And she always comes back and makes sure it's well nourished. Thank you, Marcy T. And for Derek C. Williams. What a nice surprise to see you, Derek C. Williams. And we still support you around here. I'm going to speak for myself, but I think the community and the chat room, I think that you'll always be well received in the chat room here. And thank you for all your support, Derek C. Williams, and please keep doing what you're doing, and please hang around and don't be a stranger here. So I want to say I'm going to run out really quick and do a quick little break, and then I'll come back and give a salute to everyone. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in and for hanging in with us on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. It's been a good Friday the 13th. I'll be right back. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Marcy T., Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right, guys, as always, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I really appreciate it. I just want to say salute to everybody in, and thank you so much for coming in. I'm going to start at the top. Marcy T, thank you so much. And also thank you for coming in today. It's always a great time, and we're always happy to have you around here. Thank you so much for all that you do. And also, I want to say thank you to Nick Smith. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Old Head Deuce, it's always nice to catch you in. Thank you so much for coming in. And thank you for your support. All right, sorry about that. There's a good interruption everywhere. Jermaine G, thank you so much for coming in. And I want to read your comment, Jermaine G. Just because I didn't get it on time doesn't mean that it's null void. So Jermaine G had a comment for us earlier where he said criminals destabilize and put fear in the citizens, and those citizens run to the government for help. So they work hand in hand. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Jermaine G. I really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting us. And let's see, who else do we have? We had a lot of people. Derek C. Williams. I can't thank you enough for all that you do and for coming in and joining us on the panel. I really appreciate it. And let's see, we had some other people to sneak in. I think Backyard Politics was here, and Cyber Toxin was here. Thank you so much for coming in. I want to read your definition from earlier. It says stifle refers to an exterior obstacle or inhibitor. Stifle, yes. Stifle refers to an exterior obstacle or inhibitor. Thank you for sharing that. And let's see, what else do we have here? I missed all kinds of comments, but it's not a miss. It's just, I appreciate you guys for engaging. You guys are always the best. And Old Head Deuce says, "Oh, you're most generous." I'm trying to keep up. Old Head Deuce, thank you so much. And who else did I had? Callie Unknown was here. Thank you so much, Callie Unknown. And Luciano was here. And don't worry, I'm not going to count the likes and say, hey, I had 20 people in here and I need to see 20 likes. I'm not going to do that. Not going to do it. Thank you so much. And who else did I have? If you're here and I didn't get you, Joseph Francis Burton, it's like you snuck in here also. Thank you so much for all that you do and for supporting the channel. I really appreciate that. And like I said, we've got some people that have been around for a long time. And hopefully, we can keep going here, or at least we'll set up phase two. Phase two. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. So I want to thank you guys again for tuning in on this segment of Black Screen with Autumn. And look forward to seeing you guys as always in the next live stream, in the comment section on a video, Moonlight stream, a Real Under. Who knows? This was supposed to be done yesterday, this particular stream, but I was too frustrated with the technical issues that I had, so I didn't quite make it, but I did it today anyway. All right, guys, have a great rest of your Friday the 13th, whether you're superstitious or not, or I don't know. What is superstition? I don't know. I don't know anymore. Nothing means nothing, right? Okay. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend, if nothing else.